Hello, welcome back to Wenzel's World. And today we continuing on our thoughts with the Peterson pipe. And today's blend is that right there. Peterson's Sweet Killarney. So we're going to see I've been smoking on it some. This is probably, I don't know, fourth or fifth time I've smoked this. And I think the first time I did it, or the second time, whatever it was, did it in that meerschaum pipe that I got. And then most of the time it's been in this here Peterson pipe. I don't know what it is about this pipe, but it can smoke down to the last. Seems like it don't make any wet dottle. So, never had one to ever do that before. I don't really know what it is about it. And it ain't just this tobacco either. It's been other tobaccos, so I tell you, that's the most expensive pipe I got. And some of you folks would think, well, I told you it cost a little less than $200. Most folks think, well, that ain't much. Well, I remember I don't think it's too long ago. I was working from daylight to dark. Well, not only working, but traveling to work and getting back home, leaving in the dark, and might as well say getting back home in the dark, and working during the daylight hours for $40 a day. So, I think $200 is a lot of money still myself. Of course, I know it don't go anywhere. Well, I guess it's according to where you go to spend it. You go to the appliance store, it ain't much. You go to the Dollar Tree, why, you get a little bit more. Well, I'm going to read you 10 notes about this pipe. I haven't put about this blend, haven't put a bid on this right here. There's one spot on this side that thing fits real good in. So I've been smoking it without the rubber bid. Okay, well, about this blend here now. It says a unique mixture of selected tobaccos, including Virginia, Burley, Maryland blended with some black Cavendish and topped with cream caramel flavor to make this wonderful tobacco even more attractive. It is blended with hard rubbed Virginia flake, which results in a fantastic aroma. It says the strength is 3, aroma, or should say aromatic taste, and the room note is 3. So that's what the 10 on the back says about this. Looked like it was sealed last year. Looked like it was probably last November, middle of last November of last year. So anyway, so it ain't been in this tin too terribly long. Let me get me a drink of my lemonade. Add a little more lemon to that lemonade. Gives you a good tangy taste. So have you ever had this tobacco before? That caramel cream that they talk about they added to it. You can taste it. Got a very pleasant taste to it. And if you treat it right, you don't get much of a tongue bite. Now, if you start feeling like you're getting a tongue bite, best thing to do, just set it aside and get you a sip of whatever you're drinking, coffee or whatever it is. Of course, I'm drinking this lemonade here. If I'd had some good sweet tea, I brought it out here, but we didn't have none of that made up. So, now I'll tell you something else about this blend. It stays lit pretty good too. I'm gonna smoke this and tell you a little story or two about my first car. What'd you have when you first started driving? A car, a truck? First time I started driving, first time I drove, I just a little fella. I don't know how old I was. I was under 9. My daddy, he said, "You won't drive?" Well, yeah, I didn't know how to drive. So he got me up there in the front seat where he sitting under the steering wheel driving. I sit there on the seat in front of him, him right behind me. And of course, he worked the foot pedals. And all I did was steer the thing. Of course, he was right there, if I'd have, and we wasn't going real fast. Of course, my soul, we wasn't going down no interstate. And back in them days in the 60s, you didn't have as many people out on the road, and it wasn't in town, you know. So anyway, it's just a little old country road there going from one community to another. So I sit there and drove, and I can't remember what it was. It was either a Studebaker or a Datsun. Anybody remember them automobiles? But anyway, the first car I had, I worked for a fella. My first job I had, I was a garbage man. Started when I was 13 years old, worked that till I was 19 years old. Excuse me. And so, the fellow I was working for on the garbage route, he had his own truck and had his own private route. He picked up, he had a private route where people paid him. We picked their trash up there once a week on Saturday mornings. And then he had another route. He had a contract with the city, which you say city, we're talking 800 people that lived in the city limits. So he had a contract with the city to go around the first day of the month except Sunday. He would go around the first day of the month and pick up trash and cans and bags that was set out on the side of the road. His private route, we'd go back to their back of their houses, wherever they kept their cans and trash. If it was on the side of the road, or if it was back behind the house and they burned it in a barrel, we'd empty out the barrel. Anyway, so he fooled with automobiles. He'd buy them, fix them up, paint them, resell them, things like that. So he had a '63 Chevrolet. And so I went and looked at it, and I bought it, paid $250 for it, and that was probably about 1974 or 5. And so I bought a 1963 Chevrolet Bel Air. That was the kind, it had the two rear bulbs on one side and two on the other side. He was white, and he'd done some patchwork on it, Bondo, and then primed them spots where he'd worked on. So it was white with them spots different places. Not a whole lot, but some. So I learned to drive the thing. We lived where we lived at. We lived on a dirt road, or you might rather call it a gravel road. Anyway, it was mighty dirty and dusty whenever the grader would come down through there and grade that road. Whew. And you drive over that thing after that dust. Whew. But anyway, so that's where I learned to drive it. And I tell you, it was a straight shift, 3-speed on the collar. I hadn't drove one like that in years and years. I wish I could get behind one and drive again. I still remember how the gears go. All the way backing up is reverse, all the way down is first, and push it up into neutral, and then push it forward into the second, down into third. And boy, away you go. And I had trouble getting started with it, learning to drive. I'd either go too fast taking off, or I'd kill it taking off, let the clutch out too quick. And I tell you how I learned to drive it, to do that. I took my shoes off, and I could feel it better. And of course, I couldn't have nothing on, no radio or anything. I had to listen to the motor, and so that's how I learned to coordinate. You got to coordinate whenever you start lifting off that clutch and mashing on that gas. And these modern vehicles that can make that a straight shift, which one of them I've drove, which I don't have one now, they seem like me they're a lot easier about taking off than them old big cars were. And that old '63 Chevrolet, I mean, it was long and had a big old trunk, had a motor in it. I can't remember what size motor was in that thing. And had a radio, and I added a 8-track player. Now that's gonna date me, ain't it? And I never will forget having that 8-track player in that. Seemed like to me the 8-track I had was Stiff and Wolf. But anyway, back in them days, young and whatever everybody else listened to. So that's what I listened to, that kind of stuff back in the 70s. But anyway, so I went and got my driver's test. I took two. The first one I took, I failed the driver's test. He said I pulled too forward past the stop sign when I stopped. The next driver's test, I went to a different town, took it, passed it, got my driver's license. I'd drive my car to school. Well, I wanted to try to get a paint job on that car. So I saw an ad in a paper, a magazine, or somebody showed it to me. Ever how I got information about a place in Nashville, Tennessee, which was about 45 miles north of us, since I was raised in what we call Middle Tennessee. And it's not Central Tennessee. You ever heard of MTSU? You know what that stands for? Middle Tennessee State University. So it's not Central Tennessee, it's Middle Tennessee. That's where I was raised. So I went up there. I guess my daddy went with me too, and I guess I rode back with him. And I left that car at a place in Nashville called Earl Shives. And the paint job, I think, is either $34.99 or $39.99 to get them to paint it. And I got them to paint it a blue color. I guess you'd call it a boy blue, or it was bluer than this blue parts on this shirt right here. Probably about the color of that right there, maybe a little bit darker. Wouldn't know that looks turquoise to me. But anyway, a little bit, it was darker than that. Sky blue or something like that, Well, went up there and got it. Get off of there. want to put no holes in this shirt. It's still a good shirt. We had to go to town today. Good mild smoke. If you want to try some of that, it's good and mild. And I don't know what it'll do if you freight train it. I don't do that, but I haven't seen that it's got any strong nicotine surge to it, so I don't think you got to worry about that. And you folks that like aromatics and want to try something a little bit different, and if you've wondered about this particular blend before, I'd say you'd like it. But anyway, so I went up there and got the car. They painted it, and they said that somebody that worked there spent the night in the car and was smoking and dropped a cigarette, and the back seat caught a fire. And the thing smelled all smoky on the inside. Man, it seemed like it was forever getting that odor out of there. And then went somewhere or another and found a couple of more seats and put them back seats in there. So they ought to paid me. But anyway, so I got the car. Well, of course, I started driving the car around here and there, and I could back in them days in mag wheels. Oh, they was popular. Well, I couldn't afford mag wheels. So I did what I did. Found some mag hubcaps. And I put them mag hubcaps on there. Found some silver plastic stickers, as I call old English design of the alphabet. And they, like I say, they were silver color. And on the back there, then on the side panel, right behind the back side glass, that panel that was there, I put my initials on that. Had something hanging from the mirror, and I can't remember now what it was. And every now and then that straight shift, the way them things was built in there up under the hood next to your firewall there, sometimes them things would lock up, and you got to get out and pop the hood and get them things loose. Anybody remember anything like that? The first date, now I'm going to rephrase that. The second date ever went on, the first date I went on with a girl, we went double dating with her and her sister and her husband. The second time I went out with her, I took her in that car. Went to a drive-in movie and got too close to that thing, whatever you call it. I don't remember now what you call them things. Where you speaker. I guess you call it the speaker pole. Pulling up beside it, to get the thing. Got too close to it. Didn't do no denting. Just rubbed the side of the car a little bit. And whenever I'd left from that place up there, that Earl Shives place that painted that, they give me a little old can of paint. And you could take it out and had a little old brush on it. And so I put that over it, and everything. So covered up that little spot about, I don't know, yay long, and where the paint got rubbed off. Oh, me, try to impress people. Whew. telling you. Trying to impress that girl I had, girlfriend. Well, wound up selling the car, of course, and felt like I need to trade it in. It seemed like me, I had a new motor putting out that. Well, no, it wouldn't have been a new motor. I think I took it back to Jesse. Jesse Musgrove was his name that I bought it from. I think he rebuilt the motor. I think that's how it was. I probably drove it 3 years, I guess. And looking back on that, I wish now I had that car. If I had that Team Freedom thing in here, I'd hold it up here right now. And I'll tell you the reason why. It ain't got no computer stuff on it. If you got gas and you got a battery, well, you didn't even have to have a good battery. You could get that thing on a little old hill and push it off, pop the clutch and start it. Because I had a duster like that one time. And rainy weather, it wouldn't start. But if you parked it on the hill and pushed it off and jumped it right quick and popped that clutch, it'd start up, run like a scalded dog. But anyhow, so I wound up trading the car and got a little old Vega. And so we'll just stop that first car story, I guess, with that right there. But I wish I'd kept that car. If I'd kept that car, then I'd had my first car. That'd been good. I would have liked that. And also I'd have something, and I wish I had something. I ain't got anything here that ain't got a computer on it. But I wish I had something, and I wish could have kept that one. And if I had gas and the batteries up on it, I'm ready to go. I don't know about these computers and these automobiles. I tell you, I don't know, but I have heard that if they ever want to shut the thing down, oh me. Anyhow, so you ought to get you some of this here tobacco. I'd say you folks that like aromatic tobacco, and I like it just fine. Now, whether or not I ever buy another 10 of it, I don't know. I thought I had that lid on there better than that. I don't know if I'll ever buy another 10, because I'll tell you what, I've bought and doing this, having these thoughts on these different Peterson blends. I've bought a whole bunch of these, and so I'm just jarring them up. So I don't see no sense in buying no more. I'll just go back to what I got, get in it again. It'll take me a while to go through that. Some of it can be cellaring while I'm on others. So anyhow, well, enjoyed making this video. Hope you got something out of it. Maybe it brought you some peace of mind. Maybe it made you think a little bit. Maybe it made you wish and long for the good old days. You say, well, what are the good old days? Good old days when you're growing up, when you're young. I know some people, they have a hard time growing up, and their home is not so good. And I could tell you some stories about that too, but I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm going to dwell on the positive. So I hope maybe some of these things I've said tonight, it's night for me. So, but I hope some of these things I've said have brought back some old memories or caused you to think. and reflect, and that we do need to remember. But we can't live in the past. We've got to live now. But if we keep on living, then we're going to have later. So we need to plan for tomorrow. And I tell you how to live. And I'm word my team freedom thing. I'm gonna tell you how to go about living. I'm gonna live like the Lord Jesus Christ is gonna come back before I take my next breath. But I'm gonna plan on living like he's not going to come back for another 100 years. That way I keep it balanced because I don't know when he's coming back. So I need to live right before him to be pleasing to him. Amen. And since I don't know when he's going to come back, then I don't need to neglect things that I need to be doing. So I need to make my plans for tomorrow. So then remember the past, evaluate where you are, and work like it's your last day, and make plans and preparations for tomorrow. You have a good rest of the day.